I did a mini experiment this January. Basically, it was no phone upon waking, the first 30 minutes. The problem that I was solving and what I identified is that when I wake up, I used to look at my phone first thing and I'll go onto my YouTube stats and see how a video is doing. And this action put me in a certain frame of mind. If a video was not doing well, then I'd get despondent. I'd be negative. So I thought, I need to put this right through this micro experiment of not using my phone within the first 30 minutes upon waking. So the results were quite interesting. Stick around because I'll share my learnings with you. I'm doing a beautiful trail this morning. It's Saturday and this is the trail. The sun is up already. So back to my experiment or micro experiment. What I found was, firstly, I was tracking too many dimensions. I'll put it up on the screen so you can see the number of dimensions I was tracking. Now that doesn't work because it becomes a chore. And when your life gets busy, then tracking becomes difficult. So my advice here is keep to 2 or 3 core dimensions that you're tracking. So midway through this experiment, I looked at mainly my mood and my energy. By doing this experiment, what was it doing in terms of my mood as well as my energy? So I started this experiment. It was very interesting. When I consciously thought about the experiment, then I knew and I remembered not to use my phone. But when I just woke up, and if I was, rushing, then I wouldn't give it much thought. And I would go into old habits of taking my phone from the other room as soon as I woke up, looking at my notifications, going into YouTube, even if it took me 5 minutes. So, first point, you need to be conscious each day of your micro experiment, and that keeps you on track. Then, because I moved into the Apple ecosystem and I use my watch at night when I sleep, what I found was the notifications came onto my watch and the watch becomes synonymous to a phone. So you need to be careful. How are your digital items synced? Because I was solving for the phone, but then I didn't think about the watch. So my watch nearly sabotaged the micro experiment I was doing. So I caught on to what was happening and I was more mindful. When you're more mindful, and I repeat, when you're more mindful of the experiment, then you ensure that your actions are requisite to that experiment. So that's another learning. So watch what devices are synced up, because it can easily cause you to mess up the outcomes of your experiment. Then I noticed as well, there were days that my watch and my phone was not synced up. So when my alarm went off in the next room, then I would go switch off the alarm and very easily get into my notifications or YouTube. So breaking habits is something that you need to be very mindful of, because what I started seeing as well were the benefits of not touching my phone upon waking. So for me, I had more energy. I was not distracted. I was able to do what I needed to do. Oh yes, and another thing is, if you back up waking with something that you need to do. For example, I need to get my dog's food ready because she needs to eat on time, as she needs to take insulin. So when I do that activity, as soon as I wake up, then my mind is not going to my phone. So identify what activity that can support you in your micro experiment. And remember, when we started this off at the beginning of January, I indicated, identify a micro experiment that works for you, that's solving a problem in your life, whatever it is, and then keep it simple. And the other learning is track 2 to 3 things only, not a whole host of it. So for me, this experiment was super effective because it helped me identify some negative ways of how I operate and how I use my phone. So that was effective. I realized I need to be more conscious of my phone usage, especially since it sets you up early in the morning. So if you going onto your phone or onto your laptop first thing in the morning, determine how that is going to impact on your state of being, your mental health. For example, if you put on your computer, your work computer, as soon as you wake up, and you might see a urgent thing, your boss has sent you something at night and something needs to urgently happen, that just by looking at your computer at the very start of your morning, even before you can take some time to yourself, reading that email puts you in that urgent mode. Everything's urgent. Your adrenaline goes up, your cortisol level goes up, and that's because you did not protect your morning and you allowed work to filter in to time that was actually yours. We don't realize it, but all these actions have an impact. There's implications, and we need to identify what those implications are, and then make adjustments, make small changes that can allow you to protect your energy, protect yourself, protect your well-being. Also, this experiment showed me that I need to be more mindful of how I use my mobile throughout the day. It should not be my twin. I should dictate how I utilize my mobile. And those digital detox, I can see the validity, the importance of a digital detox. Now, if we don't have our phones, we feel as if we are hampered, we are tied down. How do you operate with your mobile? Can you exist without using your mobile? Or is it like a twin to you as well? Will I continue with this experiment? I definitely will, but I'll move it from an experiment to now a way of being. I am going to ensure that I don't use my phone upon waking up. And I'm going to be more mindful of how I use my phone. I hope you found this useful. the lessons learned from this experiment. It's the last day of the month, 31st of January, as I do this video. I still have to determine what's my February micro experiment, so stay tuned for that. But as I said, it needs to address a real problem that I may be experiencing. If you have done a micro experiment for yourself this month, please share it in the comments below. Tell me how that worked out for you. I wish you a fabulous February ahead of us. Take care. Bye.